Hello y'all, and welcome to YoungFolkKnits. This week you are cordially invited to join me on a trip through corduroy, coats, and cast-ons. Hello y'all, and welcome back to YoungFolkKnits. If you're new here, my name is Casey, and on this channel I share all about my love for fiber arts. So there's knitting, spinning, sewing, crochet, whatever else we might be getting up to at the moment, and I occasionally share about life here in the foothills of the Ozarks. So if any of that sounds like your cup of tea, make sure and hit that subscribe button so you won't miss out on any future video content. You can also find me on Instagram at YoungFolk.knits and on Ravelry at YoungFolkKnits. This week I have quite a few things I wanted to do, and I wanted to invite you along on the process. First of all, I really need to cut out some pants. So I have a bit of a corduroy fabric addiction. I have quite a bit of corduroy fabric. I absolutely love corduroy. Last year, I sewed some free range slacks out of some stretch corduroy from Blackbird Fabrics. And at the same time I had purchased that, I purchased this chocolate brown stretch fabric corduroy. This is the color chocolate. It is a nice 56 inch, which I love. Let's see, 97% cotton and 3% elastic. So I think this is an 11 wale corduroy. It's a pretty nice mid wale. And I love that deep chocolate color. I'm very into brown. So in my stash right now, I have a couple of greens. Let's see, I have an olive brown umber color. I have this chocolate. I have some autumn burgundy red. And I have a second pair of rust free range slacks actually cut out. So I have a lot of corduroy fabric. I love corduroy, and it's corduroy season. The first bit of corduroy I had cut out for this season though was a pair of chanterelle View A pants in a bright orange color that I got from You Fibers. Now that I'm doing a little mini sew along with Alicia Edmonston and possibly Jessamy, maybe Danny Knits, maybe Mega from Skeins of Dreams, maybe Anna from Brook Willow. I'm not sure who's all in it for sure, but me and Alicia have got our fabric. We've cut our fabric out, and we are both using the exact same fabric but different colors. And I think these are going to be really fun. It's extremely lightweight. It's only like 4.5 ounce corduroy, so I think it's going to hold up well for the chanterelle View A's and elastic, and I'm just very excited about that. It's already cut out, but I'm not ready to sew it because I think first I want to cut out a pair of Pomona pants in this chocolate color. I'm going to do the wide leg because that's my favorite, that's my go-to. I'm wearing some Pomona pants right now. I love making the wide leg Pomona pants. I've mentioned this before, and I will just mention again, those are some of the easiest, most beginner-friendly pants there are out there. It's an elastic waist. You're only cutting 2 legs instead of a front and a back of each leg, which would be 4 different pieces. You're only cutting 2 pieces. So your sewing is just really cut down a lot. Another thing that makes it very beginner friendly is that you're not attaching a waistband. Instead, this is a fold over waistband. You're cutting out the waist that is included with your pants on the bodice of it. So you're just gonna, or the top of the pants, not the bodice. So you're just gonna fold that over and sew it and insert your elastic. Pockets are even optional. There's no inseam pockets. It's all very, very easy. So I highly recommend those pants for beginners. But not only is it easy, I personally really love the ease of wearing these pants. They're so easy to wear. They're a great shape. Now, I think I make the size 18 in the wide leg pants. I've also made the tapered leg or this straight slim leg. I feel like I need a bigger size in those than I do in the wide leg. So I think I've made the 20 in the slim leg. I'm trying to remember. I'm ready to cut this out and I'm going to try to sew this today. Now, huge fan of corduroy fabric, as I said, especially when it's stretched. So I think these are going to be very, very highly worn. I guess I should have mentioned what I'm wearing. So this is a pattern that I tested for Lerka of Fiber Tales, which I'm a huge fan of both her designs and her podcast and her photography. I think she's a whole mood and I love it. But this is the Vildnis sweater, which I tested using ampersand fibers, which is a yarn created by Jess Povenmire, who owns La Mercerie. And I just absolutely love this. It's a Corriedale yarn. It's very woolly. It's non-superwash fingering weight, but they also have a DK weight. And I will say about Corriedale, it's no merino in the sense that it does feel very woolly. In fact, so I'm wearing this with nothing underneath, and I can feel it. It does have that slight bit of itch wooliness. It's not anything compared to, certain Icelandic wools like a Lopi, but, you can feel it. You can definitely feel it. And that's okay with me, though. I like that. I like feeling woolly. And it's also fairly warm. It's a dense, very dense fiber. Only thing is that when I tested this, I had an issue yet again with my circular yoke construction, and I chose a size too big. So I wouldn't say that I have wide shoulders. I would say that I have very standard shoulders for someone that's 5'8". I do have a very full bust, though. Not my upper bust, but my full bust. There's a huge difference between my upper bust and full bust. And since I have knit this sweater, which was a few years ago, I have really learned that I like to do a smaller size in the yoke. And then if nothing else, I can even increase with some raglan stitches after separating for the sleeves to give me a little bit fuller bust section. But I need a smaller size. And you can see there's a bit of gathering here in the yoke. So it is what it is, but it doesn't stop me from wearing it. And one thing I really love about it is the color. So on that note, I will show you a new cast on that I have had from yesterday. And it is the same color, and I am already loving the neutral vibes. So right now, the fall knit along is going on for Knit Collage. So the Knit Collage fall knit along. And I was very generously gifted a kit for the rhinebeck sweater cardigan. It is this really super soft sister yarn. It's very, very soft. And it's almost like knitting with roving. It almost feels like it's unspun, even though it's not. It does have some twist to it, but it's very lightly spun. And I really love it. It's a great singles base. Here you can see the yarn. So this is a bulky weight yarn, I believe. Here is a ball of it wound up. I don't like to cake this up because I feel like it's just going to pop right off my ball winder. Instead, I put it on my Swift and I just wind it by hand, and the yardage isn't that much because it's so bulky that it doesn't take long. And I enjoy doing that. I like it. So this is my ball of the sister yarn in the oatmeal heather. And this is going to be a super fun drop shoulder cardigan with a detachable collar. Now, I know when you look at this, you might not think that this says Casey, but I was talking to Alyssa from Truly Kindred, and I said, is this too much for me, do you think, in Arkansas? And she was like, no, it is not I love it. And she said, I don't mind being extra. And you know what? Neither do I. So I'm going to wear this and I'm going to be extra and I'm going to love every minute of it. This is knit in garter. So you're knitting the entire cardigan flat and it's lovely garter. Every row is knit and I think that's awesome. And then after you have finished that, you go back and you pick up the sleeves and that's going to be knit and garter in the round, I think. But what I might do is actually pick up and then use some short rows to turn it into flat knitting and then just knit flat for the rest of the sleeve in garter and then go back and just seam up the sleeve to the end. I think that would be really easy. So I may do that. We'll see. But I think this is going to go so fast. This was like an hour and a half of knitting. And in that time, I did the cast on. I did the complete back down to the armhole, the bottom of the armhole. I picked up both fronts, did short rows for both, and worked to the bottom and was able to connect it. And that was like an hour and a half, 2 hours of knitting. And I'm like, whoa, there is something to be said about knitting in this bulky gauge. I think that color is going to go beautifully with my chocolate corduroy as well. And this is something that I would pretty much wear as a coat. I mean, it would be like a jacket or a coat. And I am going to a 70s themed party this weekend where you dress up like you're, in the 70s, which is my era. So I think this would actually be so cute to wear to that party. I'm going to be wearing a romper, a jumper, not really, I don't know if I call it a romper. It's more like a jumper, I guess. And I think that this could be really cute over the top and definitely give some 70s vibes. So I will keep you updated on if I finish it in time and if it works for the outfit. But even if it doesn't, I think that it's going to be really fun this fall and winter. All right, I'm still working on my secret test knit sweater. And I did finish another secret test knit. The other thing I'm going to work on this week is part of the Softly Knit Along, which I'm co-hosting with Sari Nordland. And Sari and I are actually both working on a pattern, the same pattern from the book. And it is the apollonis pullover. So this is a lovely circular yoke pullover. It's actually knitted at a 14 stitch gauge and it calls for, I think, a bulky weight yarn, but really Aran, chunky, bulky, any of those will work as long as you can get gauge with. You're just going to get a different fabric based off of the weight of yarn that you choose. If you choose on the lighter side, like an Aran weight, you're going to have a much less dense fabric. Whereas if you choose a chunky, bulky weight yarn, it's going to be much denser, less drapey, I would say, less airy and holey. Now, because I live in Arkansas, I do just fine with a less dense fabric. In fact, that's what I prefer. And if you saw my last video, then you'll know I had actually cast this sweater on and started knitting it with some yarn I had in stash. I frogged a project and took that yarn and I was using it to knit this. It was Quince & Co. Osprey, which is technically classified, I think, on their website as a Aran weight yarn. But my goodness, I could not get a worsted weight gauge with that if my life depended on it. I 100% would classify that as a bulky weight yarn. So it was perfect to get gauge in this pattern. But I really wanted a creamy sweater. And I talked about that a bit last week. And it just kept, every time I would knit it, I would look at it and I would think, this is going to be really pretty. But I feel like it's going to turn out more this color. And what I want is something creamy. So I decided to rip it out. I don't have time to knit something that I'm not going to love. So I decided to rip it out. And I recast on instead in this Camellia Fiber Co. Serene Merino Aran. This is a 100% merino wool. It's an 8-ply. And you're getting 164 yards per 100 grams. It's absolutely lovely. It's beautiful. Sari actually used this base to knit her moonflower pullover, I think might be the name of it. Anyway, I'm a huge fan of Camellia Fiber Company, and I love this base. I actually got this base to make the Beatrix cardigan, which I hopefully will make before too long. Sorry, my throat, I feel like I'm starting to lose my voice, so hang in there. The recommended needle size for this is a US 9 to 11 or a 5.5 to 8 millimeter. And this pullover is knit, the ribbing is knit on a US 8, but the body is knit on a US 10. And I thought, okay, this would be perfect. So I got it out and I recast on with this. And I will say, totally honestly, this is a lighter Aran weight. This is not leaning towards bulky at all. Whereas the Osprey this is much more firmly planted in the worsted Aran weight. In fact, I could absolutely get worsted gauge with this, and if I looked at this, I would consider this to be a worsted yarn, not an Aran. And even the yardage on this, I feel like this is a pretty standard worsted weight, maybe heavy worsted weight yarn. But I recast it on, and I think it is perfection. So you've got that super fun top where you do some stockinette stitches, or rows. You do some stockinette rows, and it gives you a rolled collar. And then you go straight into the ribbing after that. Then you're moving on to stockinette. The rest of the body and the rest of the sweater is stockinette, and it's circular yoke. I did do the German short rows at the back here as soon as you finish the neck ribbing. I will always do short row shaping if given the option. The book gives you the option of either doing them or omitting them, and I will always do them for a better fit in the neck. That is my personal preference. So I was very happy that they were included. And now I'm just working through my increases. I'm on a tiny 16-inch needle, and I need to switch to like a 32-inch, which I will do with my next round of increases. But I'm really enjoying this. So this is going to be a very drapey, a very airy, a bit holey fabric. I think it's not going to look that holey because it blooms nicely, and it's not, you know, like, wow, that looks like a unit or ranunculus with a lace weight yarn type of open gauge. But it's not, you know, waterproof, airproof, windproof, warm sweater that I think a lot of people in colder climates would like. This is perfect for what I want, though. And the color is exactly what I was hoping for. I wanted that creamy sweater, and I think I'm going to get it with this. So I'm very happy. I love the yarn. It's so soft and so dreamy and squishy. It is extremely squishy. You know, I like the fact that it's an 8-ply. It's not got a super tight twist to it, though. It's that super soft merino, so I wouldn't be surprised if this would have some pilling. I've not completed a sweater with this yarn yet, so I can't tell you that for sure. But, you know, anytime you're knitting with really soft merino yarn, that's probably going to happen. Let's see, this is non-super wash, so that is nice. I just really like this base a lot. Anyway, I would like to make some progress on this week. I really need to work on my test knit. I want to sew. I want to work on my knit-along cardigan. So let's get busy. Let's get going. You got it. You got it.
I know sometimes life can be tough, and you feel like you just had enough. When you're thinking everything gone wrong. Just remember that I'm here to cheer you on. Yeah, I wanna pick you up from the ground, let you know that I'm always around. 'Cause I know we can make it, yes we can make it if we try. Keep on trying. You got it. I believe in you. You got it. I know you got this. You got it. Just keep on trying. You got it. There's been a lot of bumps in the road. Oh yeah. Always carrying that oh so heavy load. When you feel like there's too much on your plate, just call on me, and I'll help you carry some of that weight. I wanna make you understand, let you know that there's always a helping hand. 'Cause I know we can make it, yeah we can make it if we try. Yes we can make it if we try. Keep on trying. You got it. You're gonna make it. You got it. I believe in you. You got it. Trying. Keep on trying, girl. Got it. You're gonna make it. Got it. 'Cause I believe in you. Yeah. Just keep on trying. Got to keep on trying. Oh, baby, I believe in you. Just keep on trying. Everything will be alright, my baby.
Hello everyone. I wanted to pop back on and show you my finished Pomona pants. So yesterday I did sew. I was able to cut out and sew these corduroy pants in this stretch chocolate corduroy fabric, and I love them so much. I ended up doing a cropped version, and I really like the cropped cords with boots. I think they're super cute and fun, and that wide leg, it's just I love everything about it. So I put it on with my Celeste sweater, which is a pattern by Petite Knit, and I used Sandnes Garn, Double Sunday, and Peer Gynt to make my version, and I love that sweater so much. The body, the majority of it is knit in Double Sunday, so it's nice and soft, but I did use some Peer Gynt for the contrast colors, and I was surprised how well the Peer Gynt and the Double Sunday ended up working really nicely side by side. So I used a lot of Double Sunday, but I think I used 2 Peer Gynt colors. You have quite a bit of contrast colors. You just use a little bit of each color in the yoke, and it's really a fun knit. It's practically 1 by 1, 2 by 2, 3 by 3 color work. It's very advanced beginner friendly. I don't necessarily think that if you've never knit a sweater before, you should jump right in and do the Celeste sweater, but I think that it is not a difficult first color work sweater if you've never knit color work before. I don't think it is that difficult because you don't have long floats. You literally have like 3-stitch floats, and so I love that sweater. Anyway, I thought that it paired really nicely with these chocolate cords, and I think I'm going to end up wearing these a lot this fall and winter. I really, really love them. I did do a back pocket for each side on the back. As I've mentioned before, both my cheeks like a pocket. And I did do them cropped. I did do the wide leg version, which is view A. I don't know what else to tell you except that I love the Pomona pants, and I have lots of linen fabric ready that I am going to be making more out of. I just really love that view A. Also, just a little update, I am just knitting away on my apollonis pullover and still loving it, still loving the yarn choice. And I'm going to try it on as I go. And if I have a little bit of trouble with my gauge, then I'll just knit to the measurement in length. I love it whenever they say, you know, knit this many rows and this measurement, because that way if your gauge is off, it's okay. You can knit to the measurement and you're going to get the length that you need. Now, that's assuming that your stitch gauge is going to be workable for you. But sometimes my stitch gauge is okay, and my row gauge I have trouble with whenever it comes to using a lighter weight yarn than what's called for. I can increase my needle size to get the right gauge stitch wise, but row gauge can sometimes be a problem. So I love it whenever they give you a measurement to knit to, and that's what I'm doing with this sweater. While I have been working on all my projects, I have really enjoyed listening to a couple of books. One of them I just got is the very first Vera book, which is written by Cleeves. And I love the show Vera. And I went back and looked at the books, and the very first book is called The Crow Trap. And I was hoping that I wouldn't remember because it's been so many years since I watched that first season. Unfortunately, though, as soon as I started listening, I tried so hard. Every time something would kind of come back into my subconscious, I would purposefully try to push it down and change my thought immediately. I was trying so hard not to remember the plot of this. But I do remember in the end the main gist of what happened, which is unfortunate. But even so, this book is really good so far. I'm only halfway into it, but she's a great storyteller, and I'm excited. Vera hasn't even been introduced yet, so I'm excited to get to that portion of the book. Also, there was a sale on Audible, and I think it was like a cozy sale is what they called it. And they had all these books for $4. And instead of using a credit, I decided to buy one for $4. It was a cozy mystery, and it's called The Charity Shop. Murder or mystery detective agency. I'll put it on the screen, but it's really cute. And it is super cozy and lighthearted and not dark at all so far, aside from the fact that there's always a murder. I do love my mysteries. I do love my police procedurals and whodunits, and this is just a really cute one so far. And I was thrilled to see that there is a series. So if it ends up being as good as I hope it is, it'll be nice to have a light-hearted mystery series that I can sort of dive into and get lost in. My mental health has been all over the place lately, and I think a lot of it has to do with my hormones are just in a fun place, and I have a lot of autoimmune issues, and so because of that, I can tell my anxiety has been really bad lately, and I think it's been that way for a lot of people, so it may have to do with the changing of seasons as well. Like, who do you know that doesn't have anxiety at this point? Everybody I talk to has anxiety, and a dog with anxiety. So that's just the way it is. But I do enjoy having that light-hearted book to listen to every now and again whenever I need a distraction. Otherwise, I'm going to keep on knitting on my projects, and I can't wait to catch y'all up very soon. I would love to hear what you're knitting on. It definitely keeps me with a running list of new things that I can add. I always need new project ideas, new yarn ideas. So I love it when you let me know what you're knitting on. Let me know in the comments what you're working on or what you plan to start on soon. And next week I'm going to be very excited to announce a winner for the book Softly by Sari Nordland. So I hope you can find some time this week to enjoy your making. And until next time, happy knitting, y'all.